Okay, good morning, everybody. Today we are going to finish the Unit 1 of our Reading and Writing textbook, Neuroscience and Empathy. And we're therefore going to focus on the last part, which is the third part of this unit, called Focus on Writing. Yeah, so we're going to do that today. Focus of writing also gives a lot of review. Mostly it reviews all your vocabulary, but yet still, if you would want to know anything about any of the vocabulary or grammar, that is all compiled into one. You can go to the back of your textbook, and from there you can also know who, what it is, what the vocabulary is or the grammar is for that unit. Okay. Now, let's go to page 16. Okay, I'm going to, okay. Oh, wait a second, yeah, guys, because I cannot handle this sound. Can you see that in here? Yeah. I cannot. Wait a second, yeah, guys. I need to fix something. Sake that sound. Where is that? Yeah. Probably that needs. Okay, never mind. I don't know where it is. I'll just leave it the way it is. There's a setting and its sound keeps popping up and it's not nice. I don't know how to fix it fast. So let's just forget about it now. Okay. Okay, let's do this over. Okay. Okay. Good morning, everybody. So let's, today we're going to finish Unit 1, yeah, as I said just now, and we're going to go straight into focus on writing. So if you can go with me to page 16. How is everyone today? You're good is funny. You're good. Thank you for replying, but you're good is not good. I'm awesome. I'm great. Like, where's the enthusiasm? Yeah. Be enthusiastic. The more sleepy you are, the louder you're going to become. The less enthusiastic you are, the more you got to force yourself to be enthusiastic. It kind of triggers your semangat, yeah? That's just such a beautiful word, semangat. English does not have such a beautiful word. Okay, we're gonna go straight into checking everything and reviewing. So if you guys have any questions, of course, do not hesitate to ask. This is the time when we're gonna review the material and go over the activities. We're gonna do it quite fast because there are a lot for the end of the unit is always quite a lot. So Whenever you want to ask, you want to say something, please just jump in, yeah? Okay, so this is the review of the vocabulary of Unit 1. If you would want to see the whole thing compiled, again, go to the back of your textbook. You see a compilation of your vocabulary and of the grammar as well. But that is in the here, vocab and grammar for reading and writing. In the other book would be vocab and grammar for listening and speaking, yeah? Okay, so we have these 9, 10, 11 words which had to be placed in the right context, in the right sentence, therefore making a text complete. So it was not only knowing what the words mean, but also really knowing how the words fit into the context. Now we're going to look at that. And I'd like to ask who would like to start. And if you guys can annotate, can you just annotate it and type it into the empty spot that we have here? Who would like to start? Are there any volunteers?
Me.
Okay, Michelle, awesome. Let's start.
Baca nih, Miss.
Yeah, let's read the sentence.
Okay. It took a leap of faith for Mike McIntyre to leave his job and travel penniless across America in order to conduct an experiment on the generosity and kindness of the American people.
Yeah, very good. Thank you. Yeah, so we have the word, yeah, his name is a bit hard, McIntyre. It's something, well, penniless, experiment, generosity. That was the word, generosity. And the answer is conduct. Very good. Okay, awesome. So I'll type it in, but after this, if there's someone else who would like to type the words in, please do not hesitate to do so. Okay, so we have conduct here. See, that's the word. Correct. Thank you. Who wants to go next? Okay, Lau, go ahead.
He was able to validate his thinking about the kindness of strangers because he often saw. Should I continue or
Yeah. Yeah,
get
that's
to
okay.
finish the sentence, right?
Yeah.
He often saw true empathy in people's interactions with one another as he traveled from town to town.
Correct. Through empathy. So that's another word, yeah? Another word for like a synonym for compassion. Yeah. Very good. Okay, we continue with the next one. So we've got validate number 2 and empathy number 3. Next, who wants to try? Okay, I'm just gonna pick people. Okay, Fanya, are you here, Fanya? Fanya? People, if you're not answering, I'm gonna note you down, yeah? Fanya? No. Okay, I'm gonna ask Shani.
Yes, miss.
Can you answer the next one?
He hailed this affective experiences as proof of the inherent goodness of human beings.
Yeah. He hailed these effective, yeah? Very good. Awesome. Okay, we go to the next one. That is for Livia.
Hello, Miss.
Hi. Next one. Can you read the sentence, please?
Itu how do you read the name, Miss?
McIntyre's.
McIntyre's assessment of human character is in direct contrast with that of people who are skeptical.
Can you finish the sentence? Finish the sentence. Skeptical?
Ketutupan, Miss. About human goodness and belief that a nggak tahu, Miss.
You have to look at the box. Open your textbook then.
Display.
Yeah. Display. Yeah, the display continue the sentence until
Of
the end of the
compassion
sentence.
and
Yeah.
understanding
Is more
anomaly
yeah, it's more an anomaly. And then
than a characteristic of ordinary behavior.
yes, thank you very much.
Thank you
Albert,
very
can you continue? Albert? No, Albert. Okay, I'm gonna ask Jeremy. Jerry, are you here? Guys, if you do not answer, you're counted absent, even though you're logged in, yeah?
Maaf, Miss. Kenapa, Miss?
Can you answer the next one?
Sebentar, Miss. However, if we consider scientists' revelations about the way mirror neurons work in the human brain, we may be justified in taking a more optimistic view, since we do not live. Bentar, Miss.
What is the definition for in isolation? Renee? What is it there? We do not live in a we do not live in a vacuum. And what we can do can impact. Yeah. Can impact others. We have the power to influence the future with our actions. According to scientists' research findings, it is possible that the benefits of living in a culture of kindness will be, anyone? Transmitted. Yeah. Very good. Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Michelle. Will be transmitted to future generations if we learn to be a more compassionate society. Okay, please check your answers. These are the definitions of the words. Now, we're going to go to the next page, which is the expansion of the vocabulary, still a review of it, but we're using it in a table, which is the part of speech, POS, seeing how each word has a different part of speech. So we're looking at the adjective effective. Who can tell me what the noun is? What is the noun? Anyone? Okay, I'm gonna. Yeah, affect. Yeah, affect. Yeah, well, affection is a different meaning. Affection is a noun, very good, but that is a different meaning from effective. So this is more affect, and affection is it's a different meaning. To show affection, to have affection. Beda arti, but that is nonetheless still a noun. So affect, and then the verb would be also affect. It can be the same, yeah. So affect and effect. Then we've got effective. Would anyone know what the adverb would be with li? Adverbs are mostly with li. Anyone? No? Effectively. Yeah. Then we have the word anomaly, not a verb. but we've got an adjective. Anyone?
Anomalous.
Yeah, very good. Anomalous. And then no adverb. Now we go to the word display. What is the verb form of display? Still display, stays the same. What about the adjective? Adjectives often have a bowl. So you could say this.
Display.
Yeah. Displayable. We could also say displayed. Yeah, both can go in. Empathy, the noun, the verb. Anyone? Oh?
Empathize.
Yes, empathize. What about the adjective?
Would it be empathetic?
Mm-hmm. Empathic or empathetic? Empathetic. It can be both, yeah? Can be used both. And for the adverb? So that could be, yeah?
Empathetically.
Very good. Ini and so we've got empathically and empathetically. Yeah. Both can be used, yeah. Now we go to the word impact, the noun.
Impact.
Yes, stays impact. So the noun is impact, the verb is impact. Orchestrate, the noun for orchestrates. Orchestration, orchestrate. What about the adjective? The adjective often also uses idea. So in this case, orchestrated. So orchestrated. Yeah. And revelation, the verb. Please check this, yes, guys, if you had the same. So reveal is the verb, and then the adjective is revealing and or revealed, because adjective sometimes also uses the idea. Revealed, revealing or revealed, and the adverb would be with li, revealingly. Yeah. Okay, stimulate. Anyone? The noun for stimulate?
Simulation.
Stimulate, sorry. Simulation. Correct. Very good. Simulation. I said stimulate, but it's simulate. So the noun is simulation, simulate, and then with ed, simulated. That's not the past tense, yeah? But it's just how the adjective works. And then we've got skepticism, which can also be skeptic. Okay, I put that one too close. Skeptic, yeah? Then no verb. What is the adjective?
Skeptical.
Very good. Skeptical. You see that in adjective there's a lot of ed, ic, oh yeah. And then the adverb with ly.
Skeptically.
Yeah, the adverbs a lot with ly. Yeah, the nouns is a lot with eon. Yeah, or I see. Okay, so we got validate. What is the noun of validate? Validation. Validate, and then the adjective?
Validatory.
Almost. Validated with ed. Very good. Okay, awesome. So basically here we get the part of speech of the words that we've been reviewing for this unit. So first off, what we did was looking at the words, the meaning of the words in context, knowing the definition in context, and now we're looking at how the words work in the part of speech, like how they can change from noun to verb, adjective to adverb. And you see that for adverb mostly it's lia, so the forms that it takes changes a little bit, but still it's all one word family. They're all connected, and the base form of the words all have the same meaning, though with the change of part of speech it might be that the meaning a little bit alters. Okay, we continue. Complete the sentences with the information from the chart we filled out just now. So let's see what we got to. Number 1 starts with an R. Research conducted by James Fallon, a neuroscientist at the University of California. What is this word? Anyone? Okay, I'll give you the first one. It's a revealed. Revealed some hidden truth. So you have to look at the box that you already filled out. His. Okay, I'm gonna go a little bit faster because I'm afraid that otherwise we cannot finish in time. Show you the second one is a different form, different part of speech. That would be revelation. So if we're looking at this, we can see the University of California revealed some hidden truths. His revelations on National Public Radio were very surprising. So we're both using the word reveal, but then we're using two different types of the word reveal. We use revealed as in the adjective, yeah, or as in the verb, and we use revelations. Revealed can also be the past tense of the verb reveal, and then revelations as the noun. Okay, so this is how this word is used, and now you're gonna try to do number 2. Fallon studied brain scans. That's, what would that be? Any of you?
Play.
Yeah, very good. Display, right? The inner workings of the minds of serial killers. When his mother told him there were killers among his father's ancestors, he was skeptical. He was skeptical. His,
Skepticism.
yeah, very good. His skepticism. Skepticism changed when he had his own brain scanned. Number 4, the brain simulations showed that he had the same brain what? Anomaly, yeah? Anomaly as the serial killers he studied. The results of his PET scan seemed to, anyone?
Validate.
Very good. Seems to validate his mother's comment about his ancestry. Then after he voluntarily agreed to look at his genes, especially 12 genes related to violence and aggression, he, anyone?
Orchestrate.
Yeah, very good. Orchestrated. Orchestrated. Long word. Orchestrated doesn't even fit. The testing of his whole family, it turned out that he alone has the warrior gene shared by many serial killers. Okay, that is not nice. That's kind of scary in a way. Knowing that you have a gene that a serial killer would have, that ain't so nice. PET scan, positron emission tomography, it produces a three-dimensional image of body processes. Yeah, that's a PET scan. Can we continue with 7? Okay, I have to drop a bit lower, sorry. Cannot drop lower. Okay, how does he explain not becoming a killer like the ones he studies? What is the word in this sentence? I'll just place it here. Yeah. He effective, the effective, yeah. So it is effective, the word is. The effective domain is his answer. The effective domain is his answer. He had a wonderful, loving childhood, unlike that of most serial killers who had suffered abuse. A biological substrate is not enough. There must be traumatic experience that cut off a person's capacity for, anyone?
Empathy.
Yeah, empathy, very good. Empathy, the ability that you can feel for someone else, yeah? In other words, we do not grow up in a vacuum, and the love and care we receive in our childhood has a positive
Impact.
Yep, has a very positive impact on our future development. Very good. Any questions about this? The vocabulary? No? Okay, then we're going to continue. Awesome. Okay, that leads us to our grammar. So again, it's a review and a little bit is added here also as well. Past unreal conditionals you've already had in last year. So this is not a new thing, but still very important because you need to keep practicing and applying it in your speaking as well as in your writing, right? So using past unreal conditionals, here there were some questions before we jumped into the grammar. Yeah, examine the sentence. If Mike McIntyre had not quit his job, he would not have been able to go on a spiritual journey across America. Did Mike McIntyre quit his job? Did he? Yes or no? Looking at the sentence, yeah? Looking at this sentence. Did he quit his job? Yes or no?
Yes.
What does it say? If Mike McIntyre had not quit his job, he would not have been able to go on a spiritual journey across America. Did he quit his job? Yes.
Yes.
It says if he had not quit his job. Dengan kata lain, he quit his job, right? Second question, was he able to go on a spiritual journey across America?
Yes.
Yes, that's also clear from the sentence, right? Last, how are these two ideas connected? So we have the idea that Mike McIntyre quit his job, in that he went on a spiritual journey across America. Now, how? If you look at the sentence, how are they connected? You see? It uses two things. It uses an if clause and a result clause. That is basically what is used here, if you look at it. So you see the if clause, if Mike McIntyre had not quit his job, comma, if you start the sentence with an if clause, you always have to give a comma, yeah, in the middle. And then he would not have been able to go on a spiritual journey, would have been the result. So you have the if clause and the result clause together. That's how these two sentences and these two ideas are connected. Okay, now, so looking at the past unreal conditionals, you know that we have many different types of conditionals, and I have already put in the grid into your ebook for the if clauses, yeah, like how does it work from 0, 1, 2, and 3, 0 being the present real, 1 being the future real, and then we have 2, which is the present unreal, and then we have 3, which is the past unreal, and that is already placed into your ebook where you can see that as a whole scheme. You can see all the if clauses all together and what happens with them. Today we're just only focusing on the past unreal conditional, so we're talking about the unreal ones. You have the real and unreal, so you have the present unreal and the past unreal. Now the past unreal would be type 3. Okay, so but it is important for you to know the whole grid, to remember all 4 different types, then zooming into either one. Okay, so in your ebook, I did give you that compilation of all four already. So if we're looking at type 3, which is the past unreal conditional, you express the past untrue or past imagined situation, something that was impossible to happen and or is already too late. If I had studied for my exam, I would have passed it. And that is something I didn't do, and now the opportunity passed and I cannot do it again. So that is a past unreal. So in the if clause, you use had plus past participle, yeah, which in this case is basically the past perfect, yeah, had plus past participle. And in the result clause, you would, might, could. Would have, might have, could have. So if I had studied for my exam, I would have passed it, but it's too late. Yeah, so that's basically, you got to remember that. So something that is a desired idea, which you would have wanted, here it says clearly like it's an untrue and an imagined situation with a result, but you can't have it anymore. Yeah, it's either already because it's past, or you just can't do it. That is past unreal. Now here you see the if clause here. If Mike McIntyre had not quit his job, had quit, and the result clause, he would not have been able, would have. So it can be with not in the negative. Yeah. You can also turn it around and say, Mike McIntyre probably would not have been able to learn so much about the kindness of strangers if he had walked across America with a wallet full of money. Then you put it the other way around. If you start the sentence with the if clause, remember to use a comma in the middle. But if you start the sentence, if you do not start with the if clause, you start with the independent clause, no need a comma. Yeah, the if clause comes first. Oh yeah, I already said that. Okay, cool. Let's just try it out. Yeah. So here we have an example. The Italian research team stumbled on the reason why humans can empathize with someone who's in pain. They discovered mirror neurons, and here it is connected by saying if the Italian research team had not stumbled on the reasons why humans can empathize with someone who's in pain, comma, they would not have discovered mirror neurons. Okay, let me type in some ideas, and you can respond to what I write, whether maybe you have another idea or something you would want to ask about it. Yeah. So let me see if we start with the if clause, yeah. If the Italian researchers we have the comma, yeah. Wouldn't. You can basically turn this one around, yeah. Look at mirror neurons. Where am I in humans? Okay. So if we do it this way, let's say like this, if the Italian researchers hadn't or had not studied monkeys' brains, comma, they wouldn't or would not have located mirror neurons in humans. Now, I do agree that if we're writing, it's better not to make contractions like these. It's far better to write had not and would not. So this is what we call a contraction, okay? For speaking, we mostly just use contractions, just so you know. Because you start with the if clause, you have to have this comma here, right? But we can also say it the other way around. You could say the Italian researchers would not have located mirror neurons in humans if they had not studied monkeys' brains. Yeah, but you cannot start, don't start with they, because when you start a sentence, you always have to be clear on your subject. So you would say, for example, then the Italian researchers, yeah, would, and then you continue, the Italian researchers would not have located mirror neurons in humans if they had not studied the monkey's brain. But then you would not use a comma because you do not start a sentence with if. Any questions? Okay, cool, then go to the next one. Let's see how the next one. Would anyone want to try number 3? No? Let's try if Mike. No. Now here comes the comma, definitely, yeah. And then we continue with the second, with the result clause. So his belief in the inherent, sorry. Not strangers would not. Something like this then, yeah. And definitely a comma because we're using, we're starting with the if clause. So if Mike McIntyre had not taken the leap of faith to travel planets across America, comma, his belief in the inherent goodness of strangers would not have been confirmed. We can turn it around, say Mike McIntyre's belief, so not his changes into the name, yeah? So Mike McIntyre's belief in the inherent goodness of strangers would not have been confirmed if he had not taken a leap of faith to travel penniless across America. Then in that case, definitely you would not be using a comma. Carol told Mike about school. He had such a wonderful time sharing with the children. Anyone? Okay, so we can make this real quick, check your answers. Let's start with the if clause. If Carol had not told Mike about the school, comma, he would not have had such a wonderful time sharing with the children, period. Or we can say, Mike would not have had such a wonderful time sharing with the children, sorry, I say children? Yeah, Mike would not have such a wonderful time sharing with the children if Carol had not told him about the school. Yeah. Number 5, what can we make of number 5? Start with the if clause. If Baxter had not told Mike that they only opened their home to other family members, comma, he would not have understood how special their hospitality towards him was. Period. Now let's try it out the other way around. We start with the result clause. In Mike would not have understood how special their hospitality towards him was. And now we go into the if clause. If Baxter had not told him that they only opened their home to other family members. Okay, now remember that what you see here in the if clause, had taken. So you have to use had plus the past participle. So that is basically the past perfect tense, yeah? Verb 3, past participle is verb 3. And then remember that in the result clause, you have to use either would, could, or might, would have, could have, might have. Yeah, that is just the deal. You use, in the if clause, you use that past perfect. So had plus verb 3, past participle. And a result clause, use would have, could have, might have. Okay. And then number 6. Number 6 could have been, if we started with the if clause, if Mike had not given up the money he earned at his job to travel across America, comma, he would not have had the richest experience in his life. Let's try the other way around. Start with the result clause. Mike would not have had the richest experience in his life. if he had not given up the money he earned at his job to travel across America. Do any of you have questions about the past unreal? Yeah, so remember that for the past unreal, how do you create it? The if clause has had plus past participle, had plus past participle. Past participle is verb 3. Had plus past participle equals a past perfect, yeah? So the if clause has had plus past participle, and the results clause uses either would have or could have or might have. Any questions? And we use it in order to show something. Basically, it's imaginary, which we would have done if we could have, but we can't because there's no, either the time is gone, no, the opportunity is gone, the time is not there, or whatever the circumstances, then it could have been imaginary. You know, it's where you more reminisce about something or reflect about something. Man, if I had done that, I could have. You know, if I had done that, then I would have, or I might have. Yeah, those kind of things. It's more into reflecting. Okay, now here in number 3, it asked you to try, the answers were definitely varied here because you had to give 3 statements that show how an event or a person in your life inspired you to become who you are today, and you had to change the statements into the past unreal conditional sentences. So for example, this one, I became a compassionate person because my mother taught me how to pay attention to the needs of others. That's beautiful, by the way. And in our devotion this morning, we talked about that, to shift our attention not to ourselves, from ourselves towards others. Yeah. Okay, past unreal conditionals here. If my mother had not taught me how to pay attention to the needs of others, comma, I might have, or I may have become not have become a compassionate person. So in this case, they use not. Kalau tidak, yeah, if my mother had not taught me, then I would not have become. But my mother did teach me, and I did become. But remember, you use the past unreal as an it's imaginary. So kalau tidak, jadi apa ya? So it's like thinking about it, but it didn't happen. Or when you think about something you should or could have, might have done, but you didn't. Yeah. So in this case, the person did become compassionate because the mom did teach him or her about paying attention to the needs of others. So if you make that imaginary, then you would use the opposite means with not. What if she did not do that? Then what would I have become? Get my point? Like that. Any questions? No? Okay, so let's look at number 2. Here I say, when I visited a poverty-stricken country, I understood the true impact of poverty. So the person did visit and did understand. So now let's make it imaginary, as an idea, as a reflection. What if he didn't? You know, didn't go there. So we have to use not. So I would probably not have understood the true impact of poverty if I had not visited a poverty-stricken country. Can turn it around? Yeah. If I had not visited a poverty-stricken country, comma, I would probably not have understood the true impact of poverty. But since we start with result clause, there's no comma. Yeah, very good. Awesome, awesome. Now for number 3, 4, and 5, is there anything you would like to share?
Can I try mine, Miss?
Yeah.
Okay, so my reality is I passed the final exam because my mom told me to study hard.
Okay.
And my past unconditional sentence is, if my mom had not told me to study hard, comma, I might not have passed the final exam.
Very good. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I like how you said it. You said the reality is. So definitely. So there is the reality and there is the imaginary reality, which is unreal, right? Yeah, very good. Cool. Anyone else? So in that case, you can just add not, right, to make it unreal. Yeah. Anyone else would like to try? Just to make sure that you got it, that you understand it, that you're on the right track. No? No one? Okay, then in that case, I continue. Remember, in your ebook, you get to reread the theory, and if you have a hard time, you can still ask me. But as Clara just pointed out, there is the reality and there is the situation which is unreal. And so if the reality, you want to change it to unreal, you can add not. Yeah, and remember the formula of the if clause, which uses had plus past participle, and the result clause that uses would have, could have, might have. Okay, so this is about your writing task of writing an autobiographical narrative, which you are doing, which is a story and written in a story form, but it's autobiographical, so it definitely has a chronology. Yeah, please follow the PowerPoint that I sent you and also the extra information that I sent you. It's very important because you have to have all these factors in your writing. And remembering that an autobiography is written by the person him herself. So biography, someone else writes about someone else. In this case, you are writing about you. You're writing about your story. You're writing yourself, about how someone taught you a valuable lesson of life. That's what you're going to write about. And it should be in chronological order, clearly showing the steps, okay, pacing through it, and it is written in story form. You do not have to use a dialogue, okay? If you did put some in, no problem, but you do not have to use them. Yeah, so you had to do the whole thing from brainstorming. You are allowed to brainstorm any way you'd like. You don't have to follow the box that I put in the journal. You could have adjusted that or changed them. Remember that you do, after your brainstorm, when you gather your ideas, you do your research. So basically your research is guided by your brainstorm. When you brainstorm, you come up with all these ideas, and that is basically what guides you into doing your research. So you start doing your research on the points that you came up with, and to find sources for that. And then mostly you will get more information and new points and additional points that you want to use and for which you have links as well. And you add, and then you get a very complete work, right? And then what you do is write your outline, and then you check your outline whether that is complete or not. You write your first draft, you do peer editing, ask a friend to check it or someone else, and then you write your final piece. Now, this is an example. So after dinner, after, when. So clear time connectors that show time and sequence. Okay. Now, I skipped this a little bit. Here you can see questions about who is the narrator, how is the concept of excerpt 2 different from the one in excerpt 1, and what verb tenses are used. These are actually important questions because they help you to understand how an autobiographical narrative is written. Yeah, it is mostly written in the past tense because it is something that has already happened. It probably makes it easier for you. Yeah. Here the question, what are the actions? Now, I can go over it a little bit because I don't know if any of you has answered these questions. So let me just give you an idea. Or did anyone answer this? Did anyone point this out? So remember that for an autobiographical narrative, it is important that you also point out, so the tense, definitely you have to stick to that. So if you're going to go with the past tense, stick to that. And that can be also the past perfect, can be the past tense or past continuous, whatever you want to use. And present perfect can also be something from the past to now. And the narrator, what is that? The person's point of view, what you're going to use. Are you going to use first person or third person? Yeah, so probably you're going to use first person because you're telling your own story. So it makes that more sense that you use the first person point of view. I mean, my, right? Whereas the third person point of view would be you and the name of the person. Since you're the main character in the story, it makes only more sense that you speak from your own voice, right? So as in the narrator. What time period does it cover? So make sure that you start from the right time from the beginning and then pace through using clear time sequence words, and then up till the time, either present time or still a past time. Make sure that you use the correct verb tense. Yeah. Then here you had excerpt 2 asking you who is the narrator. In this case, you see when I. So that is I'm. Definitely first person point of view. Yeah. Who can tell me what verb tense is used? When I left San Francisco, I was thinking only of myself. I never thought this trip would impact a child in a large Tennessee. I'm reminded that no matter how hard we try, nothing we do is in a vacuum. All at once, a realization hits me. It's so simple. I took giving up money to have the richest experience in life. At the end of the day, kids press around me. They wish me luck. So definitely here's the past tense, yeah? I left, I was thinking, I never thought. I am reminded there is a little bit of the present tense. So there could be that you have, if you are showing certain present thoughts or emotions, that you switch from the past into the present and then go back into the past, or just make it easier for yourself so you're not afraid that you make a mistake in that you could just keep one tense. Okay, so we have the 3 aspects, very important, right? Character, technique, and theme. 3 major elements of autobiographical writing. So authors, you already know, details about yourself and the people around them. So we talked about this already in the video I explained. Does anyone have a question about this? No? Now here you had to answer, write short answers to the questions. Anyone who would like to respond to this? No one? Okay, and then the second part, which is important, is technique. Autobiographers' portraits are effective when they're set in a picture of the past, no matter which verb tense, present or past, the narrator uses. So the idea of the whole picture should be clear that it happened in the past, okay? And always told in the first person point of view. So you could use the present tense, but then probably you would use both, or just only the past tense is fine. Yeah. At the same time, writers must use interesting language, imagery to tell the story. So because it is a biographical narrative, you need to create an imagery. Remember that? So you get to use figurative language. You got to use sensory details, words, multiple adjectives that speak to sight, hearing, taste, touch, and so on to really create this vivid picture in your head. And that builds in OSACM. Remember opinion? What was it? Color. And then you guys remember OSACM. Opinion, size, and then hello. No? Guys. Hello, is anyone there? Who can answer that to me? Gilbert, are you here?
Hello.
Do you remember OSACM? Oh, you don't hear it? Oh, no. Do you remember what OSACM stands for? Opinion, size. Do you remember? Putus. Michelle, do you remember?
No, miss.
Oh, how come? That's the one we use for, that is what we use for figurative language. You have to use multiple adjectives, yeah? So you have to have, that those refer to the multiple adjectives. Just go over your literature material of last year, okay? Because you would have to use that in your autobiographical narrative. And because it's a narrative, so go over your material of last year also, Look into the material that I've already given you at the beginning of the semester because I gave that already to you. It's in the summary that I uploaded in TD Smart at the beginning of the semester. Yeah?
Okay.
There's a summary of a narrative and it's in there. So please look it up to figure it out and use that in your writing. And then of course the other one is theme, very important. You have to create a theme, an intimate bond with your reading, making aware of the issue and problem. And what is your whole writing about? Yeah, what is the focus of your writing? And then we have the importance of quotes. I said just now, it's great if you can use dialogue or quotes, but if you didn't, it's also okay. But you can also, in this case, not necessarily use dialogue, but what is really good though is if you could put in quotes. That is different from dialogue, because in a narrative story, we would have the dialogue of people, characters talking to each other, which is not necessarily necessary in an autobiographical narrative, but I'm not saying you couldn't. So if you have an idea on doing that, then go ahead, but you don't have to. Quotes are good though, because you're the one talking, right? It's about you. But yeah, it would be great if you would have put in a quote. Direct quotations attract the reader to the writing. Yeah, so that's why it is kind of good. And it's just a bit more interesting if you put in quotes. Yeah, but do it correctly, you know, with the way you're supposed to do that. So for example, here, you know, we don't work in a vacuum. People talk and sometimes the truth comes out, she said. So really quotation marks and a comma, the period in this case, comma, and then comma, quotation marks, she said. Just make sure you do that in the correct way. Now, looking at this page, how the quotation marks work here. If I would say number 2, that would be quotation marks. I will have to drop out of school if I don't find the money to pay my tuition, comma, quotation marks, he had said quite sadly. This one. And number 3, quotation mark, you will never believe me when I tell you what Professor Chandler has done, period, capital letter, he has paid the balance of a student's tuition so that the student will be able to register next semester, comma, quotation mark, she exclaimed. So you can have 2 sentences in one quotation, yeah? Number 4, I whispered, comma, quotation mark, it's like a ripple effect, period, quotation mark. Number 5, quotation mark, professor, comma, I don't know who did this for me, period. But a kind of stranger gave a gift on my behalf and paid my debt, period. I will not be eligible for financial aid for the rest of my college career, comma, quotation mark, he said with a total joy. Number 6, quotation mark, the young man told me that when he is a successful businessman, comma, he will set up a scholarship fund for students in need, comma, quotation mark, she declared. 7, quotation mark, if I hadn't been the beneficiary of such an act of generosity, comma, I would have never learned how to be charitable, comma, quotation mark, she quoted him as saying. Okay, so these are the examples on how you should have or could have put your commas. Now, what about this excerpt? What were you supposed to do? Read it and decide where each of the quotations in exercise 1 would have been inserted. So you would have to put in the quotation mark in the correct spot. Anyone tell me which is which? This is the last thing we will do for today. Just need to know some of the numbers. Okay, let me do that for you real fast. So the first one, my college was impressed with the story she had just heard about another teacher's kindness. And here comes number 3. So that would be the quotation of number 3. You will never believe me when I tell you what Professor Chandler has done. He has paid the balance of the student's tuition so that the student will be able to register next semester, she exclaimed. So that quotation can fit in here. Although the professor had donated the money anonymously, somehow this gesture of kindness has leaked out. Anyone who would want to tell me which quotation can go in here? Number 1. number 1 fits in here. And number 1 is, you know, we don't work in a vacuum. People talk and sometimes the truth comes out. She said. Truth comes out, so it leaked out. Nevertheless, she went on to tell me about blah, 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 telling about financial problems. What comes here? Anyone? That one is 2. So in here we could put in, I will have to drop out of school if I don't find some money to pay my tuition, he had said quite sadly. Yeah, this is where this quotation falls in. However, when he came back to see her yesterday, the student had the look of good news on his face. What quotation falls in here is number 5. That would be, Professor, I don't know who did this for me, but a kind stranger gave me a gift on my behalf and paid my debt. I will now be eligible for financial aid for the rest of my college career, he said with total joy. So that's where this quotation can come in. And then possibly imagine, I want to many others. What quotation can come in here? That is number 4. And then we go here, would have on student's future behavior talk. This is then quotation 6 fits in here. And then here we would have quotation 7 that fits in here. Basically, this is where the quotations would fit in. So it is very good to place in quotation marks, quotations with the correct quotation marks, just to draw attention and to make your quotation or your autobiographical narrative more attractive and also clear to understand and follow. And then last but not least, you have your checklist. Please go over that. Are there any questions, my beloved students, about today's material? No? Okay. So are we clear on what the next material is, guys? Let me show you real quick your schedule, yeah? So remember that we are now in this week, yeah, the 24th. So we're basically, we finished the week of the 24th, we're in the week of the 31st, so 1 week away from submission date. So this week, after this meeting, you're gonna do your post-test 2 for reading and writing. So go to ebook 2, reading and writing, access post-test 2 and do that one. Should be submitted today, latest at 11 today. Finish the last step, which is writing and editing your journal. And your post-study this week will be doing the activities, focus on writing, an ebook for reading and writing. And there is no pre-study this week because next week will be test week. So no pre-study. But finishing up everything, meaning that next week you will have unit test 1 for listening and speaking. You will have unit test 1 for reading and writing. So 2 unit tests. You'll have to submit your ebook for listening and speaking, your ebook for reading and writing. You have to submit your log, in which inside your log is your speaking test, which is a video, and you will submit your journal, which is an autobiographical narrative about a lesson learned. All of that is submitted within a Google form, which you can access and find in your ebook. Okay, any questions? Okay then. We'll see you again next week. God bless you. Bye-bye.